Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. Oh, so many faves, but we're getting to the end of the Dave's Faves series. This is, I think, number 349. So we're almost at our year. The year is coming to an end when we get to 366, because I do leap year. Then I owe you one, because I did a duplicate of one of them, because I wanted to do one twice. So it's 367. And that will be the whole Dave's Faves series. I may go to 368 if I don't want prime numbers. I don't know. I assume 367 is a prime number. It sure looks like one. Anyway, look at that. Look at this. Yes, this is one of my all-time favorites. It involves Charles Munch doing Honegger and Dutilleux. This is in the Warner Charles Munch box, of course. But this is the separate version. Now, this is a Warner Apex. Apex was their budget label. Some of it may still be around. I have no clue, frankly. But it may be. And it's a very short playing time disc because the Duty is 20 minutes long. And the Honegger is, I don't know, what is it? Let's see, 11 plus 4 plus 8. And that's it, 19 to 23 minutes long. So it's like 40 some odd minutes. And it was an LP. On one side you had Dutilleux's Métaboles, metabolism, that's what it is. And the Honegger Fourth Symphony, Deliciae Basilianses. It's a wonderful disc of things that you will never be able to pronounce. Not the names, not the works, nothing. And it's with Charles Munch and the Orchestre National de l'ORTF, the Orchestre Radiodiffusion Télévision Française, or God knows. Like I said, don't even try. It's just not worth the effort. The music is worth the effort because you've got two contemporary pieces that were really Munch specialties. I mean, Munch was a great devotee of Dutilleux and of Honegger. And he recorded Honegger, of Honegger, Munch did like studio-wise. I mean, there are live recordings and broadcasts and things, but he did the second, the fifth, and this one, the fourth. Now, Honegger's fourth is a work. It was written for Paul Zacher, I think, and with his Basel, whatever it was that he had, his Stiftung out there, and they had a chamber orchestra, and so it's written for a small orchestra, but wonderfully used, fascinatingly used. And Honegger was a very serious composer. I mean, really a serious composer, a dark composer. He suffered from depression and whatnot. And his music was extremely contrapuntal and kind of naughty. And this is Honegger relaxing. It's the delights of Basel. It's I'm sure I've been there, but I didn't notice all the delights. I was looking for them. I have to confess, I did. I was turning around, you go down like Main Street and say, oh, is that a delight? Well, I didn't hear it in the Honegger. How about that? Is that a delight? Didn't hear that in the Honegger either. It's the musical delights of Basel, including in the first movement, this amazing passage with the sound of bells chiming with a keyboard glockenspiel, actually, if you want to get technical about it. And as the bells are chiming behind it, there's this sort of contrapuntal flow, a river of melody behind it. It's completely calm. It's calm but brilliant and exciting all at the same time. It's one of the most remarkable passages by anybody that I've ever heard. It's just nothing like it in all of music. It's just da ba 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 da 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 da. It's just wonderful with the bells, and then underneath it, the strings are just going do 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 like this. It's just wow. It's cool, and the finale has one of those Swiss folk tune things. Basilers or Grand Old Guys or whatever the name of the tune is. It's, one of those things. And it's just a jolly piece. It ends quietly. It has absolutely nothing of audience appeal about it as a concert piece. It's basically charming and pastoral and short and doesn't end with a bang and no one knows where to program it. You never hear it. But it's a great work. And this is just a wonderful performance of it. It really is. It's beautiful. It's perfectly done by Munch. And you can't go wrong. Now, the Dutilleux, Métaboles, whatever you want to call it. It's the idea of a metabolism. It's actually a variation piece. And it's a fascinating one. It starts with, it's not exactly melodic, but it's not exactly atonal either. I mean, it's a texture piece, as most of Dutilleux's works are. And what happens is that it has a bunch of sections, and the sections are named. Here they are: incantatory, linear, and obsessional. It's a Passacaglia, of course it is. And then torpid. This is torpid. You're hot, you're tired, you're sitting around doing nothing. And then finally, flamboyant. And each section, it begins with an idea, and that idea is gradually warped into the idea for the next section. And each section is scored for a different combination of instruments. And then when you get to flamboyant, the opening comes back at the end to weld the whole thing together, and it just becomes this extraordinarily orgasmic finale, this orchestral firework. The piece was commissioned by the Cleveland Orchestra, actually, under George Sell, who conducted the premiere. And there's a recording of that performance, which of course is just splendid, although the audience is a little noisy. The fascinating thing about Dutilleux, and a lot of French composers, is that many of their major works were commissioned by American orchestras. And the reason for that was that in France, Dutilleux was sort of on the outs as long as the Basilianses were running things, which was for like most of the second half of the 20th century. And so he wrote most of his major works for American premieres. So did Messiaen, for much the same reason, actually. And so you find this odd circumstance where you've got snooty French people talking about snooty French culture when in fact it was all being financed and performed in the good old US of A. Ha! So there. You don't see any reciprocity there, do you? You don't see European orchestras commissioning the great works by the great American composers, of whom there are quite a few. No, indeed you don't. But here, where we have big orchestras with big endowments and big piles of cash to spend, that's what they did. The Honegger First Symphony was a Boston Symphony Commission. The Roussel Third was a Boston Symphony Commission. And I saw quite a few Dutilleux premieres because they were American commissions, and Messiaen premieres as well, including his last work, Eclairs and La-di-da. Eclair, Eclair de l'au-delà, illuminations of the beyond, whatever it was called. So there you go. But this is another wonderful performance by a conductor who was to the manner born in playing Dutilleux. And of course, it is a French performance being done in France. I mean, they did play him there, and Munch was a passionate advocate of his music. And then Dutilleux became famous, and everybody started playing his stuff, and it was no longer a thing. So there you go. What a nice guy he was. Oh my goodness, we gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award in France, and he came. And he was just the most kind, gentlemanly, modest, humble, decent person you've ever met in your life. He was one of those artists who lived completely within his own music. His wife, Geneviève Joie, was a pianist who, played his stuff, and other people. She was a contemporary music specialist. They were a lovely couple, and he was just so pleasant. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Métaboles is a masterpiece. He wrote very little music, all of it really good. There's no bad Dutilleux. Some things are harder to listen to than others. They take more work, but who cares? So this is definitely a Dave's fave, this disc. Two really amazing masterpieces that probably are never going to get all the attention they deserve, even though people acknowledge that they're great music. They are connoisseurs' music, I suppose. And we are all connoisseurs, are we not? So keep on listening, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.